Investigations in Nevada. Park City High School teacher, a dance teacher, in fact, has lost her license for at least 2 years. Utah State Board of Education voting to suspend it during a private meeting on Thursday. Melanie Hyatt telling KSL earlier this week that she has been fighting to keep her license after she was accused of failing to communicate with students through the proper channels. A report found while she did not follow school policy, there were no criminal violations, but still recommended the suspension. In a response today, Hyatt called the move, quote, outrageous, and says that she plans to appeal.
Utah Tech University.
Good stuff. Thank you, Sam. Hey, coming up here, the Utah Compact was drafted, setting the tone for immigration reform here at home and across the country.
We've lost the value of the dignity of each of the people, of each person, each immigrant person.
But is that compact still having an impact on our community and our culture 15 years later? KSL Special, Immigration 2025, The Dream Divided, coming up next.
Yeah, I believe in the Utah Compact. I believe in the reasons behind it.
The important principles that ought to be followed with immigration reform.
Should we enforce the rule of law? Absolutely. Can we do it in a compassionate way? Yes.
I think it would be good if we could reaffirm once again that that's the Utah way.
It was drafted to set the tone for immigration policy in Utah. 15 years later, does the Utah Compact still hold true today? That's a question we have been exploring all week long here in our Immigration 2025, a Dream Divided series. Utah Compact focuses on 5 principles here for immigration reform: federal solutions, law enforcement, support for families, the economy, and free society. It's that final principle, a free society, some leaders say is at the heart of Utah's unique culture, history, and spirit of inclusion. KSL's Courtney Johns explains.
The 5th principle of free society says we must adopt a humane approach to this reality and be a place that welcomes people of goodwill. So we wanted to see how well our state is living up to that promise 15 years later.
Walking hand in hand.
She's amazing.
Guillermo Mendez falls more in love with his wife every day.
This is a person. This is the one.
Looking back on the years, they can't help but laugh at what people thought when Guillermo and Socorro said they were going to get married and move to America 42 years ago.
My mom told me, I bet you that you're going to do it just for 6 months and then you're going to come back to our house.
Together they flew to America.
So I left everything, my job, my family, everybody.
They planned on coming back after they saved up enough money for a down payment on a house in Mexico. But by the time they had saved up enough money, they also had 2 children.
We know that we can give them a better life here in USA.
Now they're both U.S. citizens, building a life in the Utah community, which they say has mostly been welcoming, but will always have a small barrier.
I think it's a bigger barrier if you don't speak the language.
A barrier Myra Sanchez has been trying to break for 8 years.
If we don't have a voice, our experience is very impacting.
Myra had her first child when she was 20, knowing little English and even less about Utah. Now a mother of 9 and a U.S. citizen, she sees more resources.
It was all those things that I didn't have.
But finding those things, or even knowing they're available, is still a challenge to women new to the country, which is why Myra's made it her mission to help.
I have to do something that is different.
Founding Comunidad Materna in Utah, she's dedicated her life to supporting infant and maternal health.
Myra was excited to share her story with us, but that wasn't the case for most immigrant organizations we reached out to. In an email, one told us they're staying under the radar because of the current political climate, a climate that has tainted the way Myra sees the Utah Compact.
The latest political environment, it creates a barrier.
Governor Cox told KSL's Deanie Wimmer he still supports the compact, which he says includes support for federal deportation of undocumented immigrants who commit crimes.
Obeying the law is part of having the society and the freedoms that we want.
He says Utah's decision to enforce the law in a compassionate way is what makes this compact unique.
There are people on one side, right, that just see the law and order piece without any compassion. And then there are people on the other side that see, we just want compassion, but we don't care what the law says. And I think that's a false choice. And I think that's what's led us to this moment.
A polarizing moment Cox says still shows the compact is alive and strong.
I would beg to differ.
Father Martin Diaz says a lot has changed since he proudly signed the Utah Compact 15 years ago.
We've lost the value of the dignity of each of the people, of each person, each immigrant person.
But he still has hope.
Even in the darkest of times, I know that goodness will win.
He says a good step forward for our leaders would be getting rid of dishonest rhetoric, reaffirming the compact, and sharing what has been given to the community.
The goodness that has been done by all of the immigrants that have come here, story after story. They know it to be true.
Stories
Sí, buenas tardes. ¿En qué le puedo ayudar?
like Guillermo's, who is now a deacon at the Cathedral of the Madeleine.
Jesús con sus discípulos y les dijo. So we will start giving what God gave us to us.
Blessed with a loving family.
3 kids and 10 grandkids.
Celebrating with his wife how far they have come
La bendición de Dios Todopoderoso.
by lifting up others new to their community.
I feel blessing to be here in Utah.
As our reporting this week has shown, not everyone may agree on how the principles of this Utah Compact should shape immigration policy, but they hope they can still be a guide for thoughtful conversation.
All right, Courtney Johnser. Courtney, thank you. And we have posted the full interview with Governor Cox online. You can scan this QR code to watch it. Up next, we explore other principles of the Utah Compact.